Welcome to another episode of Dad Can We Talk. I am your host, Anthony Ray, and this is episode 112 of Dad Can We Talk, man. We are rolling. We are continuing to roll with it. For all my listeners out there, for everyone that might hear this, y'all know I always got to say this at the beginning. If you really want to help and support the podcast, go to the YouTube channel at Dad Can We Talk and subscribe to the channel. That's the biggest way to help me out. You know, right now, that's like my biggest goal. I'm at like 195 subscribers. I'm just trying to get to 200 right now. That's it. Just 5 more, and then we'll shoot for the next goal.
You got 196 coming, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So for anybody out there that wants to support the podcast, go and do it that way. You can also find the podcast at www.dadcanwetalk.com. All the episodes are streaming there. The audio version of it and the videos are on the website. I had to close the store down for the shirts. It wasn't moving like I wanted it to, so I wasn't gonna continue to pay for that. So y'all be on the lookout. I'm trying to do it how I usually do. I'm going back to my people this summer to get some more of the shirts in. So I'll have some shirts on hand. For those, I've had about 20 people in the last month ask me about shirts. So, man, this like next month is like my time. I gotta get these shirts in here. I gotta get the shirts on. So y'all continue to look out for that, for some more Dad Can We Talk shirts coming. Go to Facebook, IG, Dad Can We Talk. Y'all can follow me there also. And then for Father's Day, I had something coming. I don't know if we're gonna do it anymore. Y'all stay tuned. We might have something that'll be coming. I'll be announcing something about that within the next couple of weeks. But without further ado, man, you know, I'm ready to get into this today. I am excited about this. I've been waiting for this one for the last few weeks. Today, man, I'm with the Grammy Award winning dude, man. You know, so we can stop it right there if we want to, man. You know, this man has won a Grammy, and the songs that he wrote for that, oh man, 2 of my favorite songs off the album. Singer, producer, the host of Destination evrYwhr. Y'all welcome to the show, my man, evrYwhr.
My guy, Anthony, what's up, man? Thank you for having me on.
Oh yeah, man. You know, this right here has been one I've been waiting for, man. So, like I said, man, those songs, man, that, for one, that Violent song on Gravity.
Yeah.
Bruh.
Hey, man. Hey, you know what? I got to give a big shout because D.O. Speaks headed that one up. D.O. Speaks, my partner in the Inner Circle, he headed that one up. So it's like, shoo, woo, that was crazy. That Violence was crazy.
Bro, the beat was like, oh yes. My God, bro.
Yes.
When I heard that one, I was like, okay, you know, it's funny. I woke up this morning and I was just going through some stuff, and I found my my Gravity the case for the CD. I bought the CD. I saw that. I was like, "Ooh, dude."
that man, yo, it's funny because like when that album came out, we went to Target, and we just like as soon as the album came out, we went into Target, and we just like, "Where's the album? Where's the album?" And we found it, and we even got at that time they had a deluxe packet. They had like it came with a t-shirt, came with some other different things. We just set it out, man. It was really cool, you know, just to go into. That was the first time I'd had a placement, you know, it's like, because that was before the Grammy, but like that was the first time I'd had a placement that put something in a store that I could like tell my family and everybody go physically buy. You know what I mean? That's powerful.
That's tight, man. Shout out to my man Lecrae.
Yes, guy.
I'm still aiming for Big Boy Cray, man. You know, Cray, if you ever hear this, man, Tread boy, you got a spot waiting on Dad Can We Talk.
That man is fine.
I've been waiting for you. I've been reaching out, you know, and I know it's gonna come. But
That's
Hey, man,
fire. Yeah,
without
that's gonna
further
happen.
ado, man, we're gonna start the podcast off the way we always started off. The first question is always the same. First question I got for you today is tell me about your relationship with your dad. How was that growing up?
My relationship with my dad, that's a powerful question, man. I had my dad there. My dad, he's still here, so I'm blessed. Um, a lot of our connection was through sports growing up. He coached a few of my teams. I grew up playing hockey. He didn't coach that, but he was very instrumental in that. Got me started in hockey and golf and baseball. He coached my baseball team, and it's like, man, I'm literally looking at a photo of him right now. It's like it's just a blessing to have him in my life, man. So yeah, I had a good relationship with my dad. Like everybody's gonna have that when somebody's your parent, you're gonna disagree with what they say, right? You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh no, I'm gonna handle it like this, right? But that's parental relationships, man. It's really good. I'm blessed.
Man, shout out to Pops. Shout out to Pops, man.
Shout out to Pop. Shout out to Skill.
Yeah.
Oh, Skill J.
Yes, sir. What are any other male figures in your life that people that you looked up to?
Quite a few, actually. Like my best friend, I grew up next door to his father, his brother is older than us. And it was like in Port Huron, Michigan, I was blessed to have a really amazing community around me. Just like my parents, which they're coming up on their 50th anniversary. So that right there in July, that's beautiful. But they kept me around some really solid people. And I had a great introduction to community, a great introduction to just what a man is, just seeing fathers, just seeing fathers, man. So, like I would say I was just blessed. And you know what? When I was younger, I didn't know how blessed I was. That was one of the things that was huge. I did not know just how blessed I was. Just living in the blessings.
That's real. What was some of from your dad or any of your other male role models? What were some of the most valuable lessons that you learned from them?
Your resilience. Things are always, it's something I learned in sports too. It's like your resilience is necessary because life is going to throw stuff at you. And if you're talking about having a family, if you're talking about being the head of any household, if you're talking about contributing, just, man, your resilience is necessary. And that was a huge thing, making sure that he was always huge on me studying. One of the spaces where we didn't necessarily agree on too as much was like where I was going as far as like what I saw for myself as far as career wise, because and he still supported that even though he knew nothing about it. You know what I mean? Like that was he definitely supported that to the best of his abilities, even though like coming from a small town, nobody knew the life that I'm living. Nobody, it was just something you see on TV or something that you hear on the radio or things like that. So it's like, it was more like, okay, so what are you really gonna do? Right. But it was funny because I was like 16 and I remember I wanted to go to American Idol so bad. And I remember my pops day, it was in Detroit. And I didn't think anything was going to happen. But I'm getting ready to go to school in the morning. My dad stopped me. He said, hey, look, we're about to go out to the American Idol audition. I'm going to take you out to the American Idol audition. Man, I was so excited. We got out to Detroit. And it was wild, though, because when we got out there, they were only taking the first 1,500 people to actually do an audition. and I was 1567. So it's like, all right, you know what I'm saying? But the thing is though, like, he pulled me out of school to be able to go and follow a dream. You know what I mean? Something that he didn't know anything about, but he just knew that I was passionate about. So, it's about showing up, and whatever you say you're going to show up for, show up to the best of your ability.
I love that. Love that. Definitely a great thing. Something that we gotta have when it comes to parenting. How has what you learned and what you saw from your dad, how has that translated over into the way that you parent your own child?
Yo, let me say this real fast, because this is the thing about my dad. This man had an aneurysm when he was 18 years old. He's at a dance, he's at a party, and next thing you know, he passes out. People like, hey, he drunk. My dad doesn't even drink. Come to find out, he was having an aneurysm. They rush him to the hospital. This man was supposed to die. He wasn't supposed to walk again, paralyzed, his whole left side paralyzed, right? Wow. And at that same time, he had been drafted to the Vietnam War. So the wildest thing is, he was going through all this turmoil with his health. And then as he's in his hospital bed, his friends are getting sent over to Vietnam to fight a war they don't really know nothing about, And next thing you know, he's watching them die, different people dying out in the war. And he's sitting there and he actually survives this thing that was supposed to be a death sentence, right? And so he lives his life working for Ford Motor Company, fathering his children, got 3 children. He every day drove 50 minutes, like almost an hour, to work, almost an hour back from work. He's just a hardworking man. He's just focused. You know what I mean? So the resilience, so the things that I've seen from him, and he's always one to just show up and want to be able to give and do. So I'm going to bring it back to your question. With all of that he was going through, he had all types of excuses that he could have made, right? But he showed up. And I mean, the one thing that, because there's so many things that I learned from this man, but you show up the best that you can. You show up the best way possible that you can. My situation is, I'm a father to a child who now lives across the country from me. We love each other. We love each other more than anything, and I had to make a move to get my life right. We can talk about that as well. I had to make a move to bring some things into alignment with my life. I was in Los Angeles, and then I ended up moving down to Atlanta. My job moved me down there. And so just different things. My whole thing is, from that, I recognized my kid is not getting what I got. But I'm going to do my best to give him what he needs. And there are times where I'm looking at it like, bro, you got to get it together. Because the way my life works out, it's, I want to spend more time. I want to spend more time. But if that means that I'm making time for my little man to come out on the road with me, nobody ever showed me how to live this life. Nobody ever showed me how to live this life. I couldn't see it. All I saw was from a distance. And you couldn't have told me that I wasn't going to be married to the woman who had my child, but that's the case. And so after having some years of growth, having some years of healing, having some years of assessing who I am, how I can show uh, I am being I am committed to my son.
Mm.
I'm committed. And so there are times where I got to look at myself and be like, hey, all right, I know that you're working. I know that you're working because you got to get the money, because that's a huge thing, man. A lot of times when we talk as brothers, we talk about, like, look, man, I got to get this money so I can provide for my family. I can do the things that I need to do. And so a lot of times that takes us away from our family. And I'm sitting here looking to crack the code on how can I make this thing like what Toby Wigway is doing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, like how can I bring it all inclusive and make it, like my artistry is about creating, finding, nurturing, and living in as much balance as possible. As much balance as possible. So that's the thing, man. I have committed myself to being there as best as I can for my son in this distance that we have at this moment. I'm blessed that I'm able to go back and forth, blessed to be able to have that. And I'm committed to making sure that how I'm showing up for him, and also leaving space open, because this is another thing. I consistently check in with him emotionally. One of the things that I recognized in my relationship with my father, we have an extraordinary relationship with the doing things. Now, communicating on like emotional level is cool. It's cool. And there's also some blockages. And I think those blockages come from, because like I said, extraordinary man. And I think there are blockages due to how we're taught to show up as men, or what we're originally equipped with, and what is empowered within us. Because a lot of times when I think, what is a man is, no matter what's going on, I just got to lock in, stay focused. There's a lot of there's a lot of, okay, the woman's going to take care of the kids, the man is going to take care of the finances, everything like that. And just, man, all I know is like when I'm around my kid, when I love being around my kid, man. I was like, when he was a baby, I'm changing diapers. I'm getting up in the middle of the night. It's like certain things like that. And it's like, hey, I'm just doing my best, and also reaching out to my brothers who are fathers too, and my brothers who are doing the co-parenting thing, my brothers who are married, all of it. I want all of it. I got to be empowered. I have to and we talk about different things that, like that we're going through. One of my friends just reached out to me today, my guys. He said, hey man, what's that book that you were telling me about a few years back? Cause I got a 3-year-old and she going ham right now. And I gotta know. I was like, oh yeah, you talking about The Conscious Parent by Shafali Sabari. Okay, yeah. Shoot that over. Man, I think fatherhood, one thing that my dad showed me is that it's a marathon. It's a marathon. It's a marathon, man, and there's sacrifice within it, and you show up the best way that you know how to. A lot of what my dad did, and also while still keeping things, because I'm gonna have as transparent a conversation with you as possible while still keeping different conversations and things like that sacred as well. But like one thing my father said, he said, anything that you learned from anything that you didn't like that I did, make sure you don't do it with Z. Because one of the things that I had to make sure that I did in my relationship with my dad, what that looked like, I took whatever I learned from that interaction, I said, okay, cool. I'm doing these things and I'm not doing these things. You know what I mean? So there's that teaching from a way and a place that is in response to what we felt like we lacked in our childhood. But also there's teaching and being a parent from a space of what does my kid need? Because if I'm only coming from a place of what did I need? Okay, what did I need? I'm gonna give that to my kid because I didn't get that. Then I may be neglecting what they actually need. And so I like to check in. So even though he's 6 years old, since he was a baby, I do my best to talk to him like he's an adult or leave him space to be able to communicate how he feels. And yeah, man, just recognize that we're imperfect beings doing the best that we can as long as we continue to try and show up.
Man, that's so real. So much in that, man. One thing you said that's so important, right there at the end is giving the kids that space, to feel like they're heard. I know in the Black community, one thing that's always been said is, we all probably heard it growing up, don't question me, don't say this, don't ask me why. All of
Bruh,
the
because that's why I said
and and at times I do catch myself, I'll tell the kids to do something and my kids will act, well, why, daddy? Because I said so.
facts.
And I leave it as that. And I've within the last, year or two, I've been really working on that, when they ask those questions and I'm giving them answers, even if they don't like it. And I give them the opportunity to say what they want. And I don't look at it as talking back. My wife, sometimes she's like, well, y'all need to just whatever. And I'm like, no, I don't mind them questioning me.
Yeah.
I don't, because I want it starts a conversation and the way I look at, people always say the same thing about God, don't question God. And I'm like, that's not, honestly, it's not in the Bible. And if you look at someone like Job questioned God and Job got answers from God also. When God gave him those answers, Job couldn't do nothing but say, you know what, you're right. When God started asking them those questions, like, do you know how far down the sea goes? And all, like, who knows these questions? So obviously, I know a little more than you, so, and Job just at the end, all right, he got it. And so in the same way, I look at it in my kids, I'm telling my kids different things. And if they want to question me, I got answers for you now. If you really want to know the answer, I can give you that and we can have a conversation about that. And also, I also make it like, I don't always have to be right. Sometimes I'm wrong. And I can say, you know what? They right. I don't even have a comeback for that. And at times I think it's all right as parents to be able to do that and just be like, you're right.
Yeah, that's human. See, that's the thing, bro. We get in a space where that's the thing. I definitely want my little man to ask questions. And just like you said, I hit him with that because at times, right? But what I've recognized, there are certain times I'll have moments like, okay, long story short, just last week, I told him to lock the door. He said, do I have to lock the door? I was like, yes, lock the door. Why do I have to lock the door? Because because I said lock the door. We had to go somewhere. A lot of times, as kids don't understand timeliness and needing to be somewhere or whatnot. So they're just like, okay, I'm chilling until we have to go somewhere. But he asked me, I said, hey, can you lock the door? And he asked me, why lock the door? And I was a little short with him. And, hey, man, shoot, I used to get whoopings. Like just that thing, like me being short with him ain't nothing. But at the same time, it is something. Because I look at it and I say, he's asking questions. Do I want him to be a yes man? Do I want him to be a people pleaser? He's asking questions for clarification to see if he agrees with something or to see why he should adopt that belief system as well. He's new to this. Michael, Michael, chill. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the thing of like, we have to have grace with ourselves too, right? We got to have grace with ourselves. You know, one of the things is that I grew up on was you finish all your food. Me, I'm not into wasting. I'm like wasting food. That's not my thing, right? Ever since my little man was young, it's like he has phases with eating, right? And also, I just want to be mindful of, you know, like speaking about his journey as well. I'm going to be mindful of speaking of his journey. You know what I'm saying? And he's a kid, you know, it's like he's you know, so he can get picky with his eating and everything like that. And so I'll give him a plate and he don't eat his food. I'm like, no, you ain't going nowhere till you eat that food. But I had to learn, look, early on, don't set up ways to get mad at this kid because just give him less food. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing, like, you're setting up a situation where y'all are going to have an egoic battle of, no, you're going to eat this food because I put it on the table, because you asked for it, because da-da-da-da-da. It's like, actually, you know what? If he asks, I learned, if he's asking for food, ask what is he ready to eat? If we only have these many options, this is what we have. If that's not what he wants, then we're going to have to find out how we're going to have to make that happen, because this is what we got in this moment in time. I'm not going, whether I'm budgeting or something like that, or whether this is what we have at this moment in time. So we're working with this. If you want to have something different, that's not an option today. We're just going to have to on this. So how about we do this? I'm going to give you this many scoops, and we're operated on that way. I bring that up is to say, I have to learn how to be a better parent for him instead of him always having to be a better son for me.
Yes, sir.
I got to learn how to be a better parent for him than him having to be a better son, because we all human. And I've been around here for a lot longer than he has, and he's learning, right? So he doesn't understand that when I was young, because that's the thing, a lot of times we parent from how we were parented, or how we were guided by parental figures, whether it be aunts, uncles, grandparents, things along those lines. I couldn't have a beverage until I was done with my food.
Yeah.
Y'all gonna have this succulent Kool-Aid sitting here looking at me in my face right now until I finish up this mac and cheese?
Yeah.
I want that Kool-Aid. You know it's packed with sugar. I want that. Yeah. I want to be running all around this house right now. But you know, like, that's the thing, is like, I take certain things into account. Like, okay, I'm gonna handle things this way. I recognize it. Just another thing, and let me not get long-winded with the stories, but just another thing, I have to remind myself that he let this kid play. Like, see, in times when I'm not in play mode, that's his job, is to play.
Yeah.
That's how he learns, playing. That's how he interacts with the world, is playing. I can learn from him playing more. You know what I mean? Yeah. We're at a restaurant. He's walking around. He's with the other kids. We got a community out here in Los Angeles, so we all go get a little something to eat. And the kids are together. They going around the restaurant, and say, okay, y'all, stop running around the restaurant. We're gonna stay in one general area. But now they're going underneath the table and kind of playing fort and things like that. And I started to say something. I was like, wait. Let him get his hands dirty. We can go wash them. Let him get his hands dirty. He's a kid. He's playing. He's gonna have some germs around here. He's gonna have some. I was raised around like germ situations. He's gonna have some germs around here. Go wash the germs off. And he eat his food. He's gonna eat his food. He's gonna play. Look, he's interacting. He's interacting with kids right now. Let that man have fun. Let him do his job. You know what I mean? And so I check myself because parenting turns into a role. It turns into a role. And in parenting turning into a role, I feel like I got to show up a certain type of way. Like, oh yeah, you got to listen to me at this point in time because da 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 da. I check myself on, okay, that thing I told him he needed to do. Did he really need to do that? Did he really? And then I apologize.
Important.
Because I want to be mindful, because I don't want my kid just thinking that he has to listen to any adult just because they're an adult.
Straight up.
There's plenty of adults who just like, we're all human. We're trying to figure this thing out. They can learn something from him. And we can all learn something from our kid if we make it a point to. Yes, we have the wisdoms that they couldn't understand. You know, like, yeah, you don't walk by the street because cars can da-da-da. You've never seen this happen. I've lived long enough to see things happen to where I'm mindful of certain things before they can happen. I can predict what could happen. So I'm going to use that part, but also you get a chance to remind me of, what does it look like to let go? What does it look like to be infinitely curious? What does it look like to throw caution to the wind and to just go for something, because I'm not living in past failures and saying, oh, well, I'm not going to be able to do that because, you know, like, I failed at something before. Shoot, you ain't got enough failures under your bed. You don't have enough failures in relationships. You don't have enough failures in that. And as a matter of fact, you do have enough failures. You failed so many times. We forget that we failed so many times trying to walk as babies. What if babies just say, oh, I'm tired of trying? No, they keep going.
Straight up.
We forgot that we are winners sometimes, you know? And so that's the thing, man. It's that relationship. The thing that I'm taking into my parenting journey is the relationship of, okay, I am going to do my best with blind spots and all, because we all got blind spots. I could think I'm killing it. We got blind spots. And I also know the areas where I'm not killing it. But blind spots, okay. Look, I'm going to leave space for you to tell me when you don't agree with something. And I'm going to sit with that. Because you might be right. Because I'm not perfect. You might be right. 6 years old, 4 years old, 3 years old. You might be right. I might have been wrong. Because I'm learning still. And we at least owe them that. To when we're wrong, we're out of pocket, we apologize. Because we were asked the same thing from them.
Straight up.
It's that, man. So,
man,
yes.
Bro, you said something that just brought back to my remembrance. I was talking with one of my brothers, man, and he mentioned something on, and I think he was on the podcast like 2 years ago. But you just said something where we forget that we were winners. He was talking about how as kids have a way, you know, kids could be the worst at something, but they don't know that. Like, you know, kids will come up to you and say, hey, daddy, hey, look, listen to this song that I just made. And it could be, I mean, just the worst song in the world. And they can sing it like in the worst way possible. But for them, they don't know, like, oh, they don't have that concept like of us. We would be so embarrassed to do something that we're not good at in front of other people. And so we think of ourselves as, I can't do that. You know, we have this mentality to where we're afraid to do certain things because we feel like losers. We feel like, oh, I can't do this. Or we might have failed at something once before and we might have been embarrassed. And so that makes us not do it again. Kids, man, they can fail at this thing 13, 14, 15 times and they continue to do it because they don't have the concept of, oh, I was embarrassed, whatever. You know, it's not until kids get about, you know, 9, 10, a lot of times, you know, maybe after 5, you know, they start to think about certain things that they do, like, oh, people might laugh at me, so I'm not gonna
Yep.
do it. You know, and then once they start to become conscious, but a 3-year-old, what? A 3-year-old has no conscious of that. They're gonna sing when they want to sing and how they want to sing. They're gonna dance when and how they want to dance.
Yeah.
They live and they're just them. They're genuinely themselves at all times. They're never like thinking like, oh, well, you know, this person over here might laugh at me, so I'm not gonna show my dad this dance. You know, me being my 34-year-old self, I think of everything like, man, I don't want to talk in front of this person. I don't want to say that because I'm so conscious of times where I failed and did all of these things and people laughed at me and all this. So I hold back on a lot of things. You know, even though I might be good at certain things, but I can talk myself out of doing things. And so I think that's one of those things that we can truly learn from kids, man, is to like be confident in ourselves. And, you know, okay, yeah, you might fail. All right. That doesn't mean that you're a failure.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got to continue to move forward and continue to try different things and new things. And I was going to ask you, what has been the greatest thing that you've learned?
I actually have this book called Chasing Failures by Ryan Leak. It's a little 45-page, 49-page book. And you brought up failure. And that is something that I have been striving for now. I've committed myself to striving for failure because I've recognized those blockages. I've recognized those blockages in my career. I've recognized those blockages in my parenting. I've recognized those blockages in me just living. I'm like, there's in just life, they're coming up. And I've started to recognize just I had this fear come up of failure, fear of interacting with, like, honestly, man, I've become quite reclusive, to be honest with you. And there's a few things that have contributed to that. And I think, you know, everybody kind of being dissipated with quarantine and all types of stuff like that, that also contributed to it as well. But like, man, you brought up the failure aspect and not caring about failure, like chasing failure, you know what I mean? Chasing being wrong. You know, that's how we learn, right? That's how we learn what our limitations are. You know, that's the thing. Like my little man, we were at a friend's house. They had crystals. People with crystals get real serious with crystals a lot of time. My little man goes and touch the crystal. I was like, hey man, just wait. Just ask them if you can touch the crystals. He looked at me. He go and touch the crystal anyway. Why would you touch the crystal? But the thing is, though, that the wildest thing is, it was one of those, how I look at it, it was one of those moments where he's like, really, what is wrong with me touching this crystal? What's wrong? He don't know. He's thrown all these, and this is me putting words in his mouth. So like, should he ever listen to this and me be like, actually, Dad, that's not how I was feeling. Cool. Let me know. Me speaking just from a place of how could I possibly feel sitting in his shoes? Somebody tells me, sometimes always telling me, you got to do it this way. You got to do it that way. You got to do it this way. I want to know some stuff too. I know some stuff too. Oh, you can't touch that. You can't do this. You don't. What's all these rules, man? Why? Like, what's happening right now? Why can't I walk on that person's grass? This is just grass. Why can't I do this? How come I can't just go out there and play this game? They're playing that game. I'm like, what is this situation? Why are all these blockages on things that I can do? I'm touching this crystal. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I look at it as, right? It's like, because there's challenges. When we were kids, we wanted to be adults because adults could do everything. We didn't know what was on the other side of puberty. We're like, hey, you're always telling me what I can and can't do. You have all the freedom to do it. You can drive. You can drink adult drinks. You can do adult things. Like, I want to be an adult. I don't want to be a kid anymore. I want to be an adult. But you know, And there's these different things that come with it. But yeah, man, I started speaking passionately. You brought that situation up with your brother talking about the failure and things like this. Like, yeah.
Man, and that stuff is real. Man, what's one of the greatest lessons that you've learned from your child? Like something that he's taught you?
One thing off the top of my head is I am infinitely creative. I am infinitely enough. I am infinitely, says I am, as I am enough. I watch him write songs. We'll sit here at the keyboard. I'll take him in the studio. He'll create something, right? And as soon as he creates it, or he's drawing or painting or doing something like that, and as soon as he does it, it's dope because the kid is good. He'll do something dope. And I'm like, wait, what's that? And then he'll tear it up, or else he'll erase it, or he'll stop it, or he'll delete it, and he'll go on to the next thing. I'm like, but wait, that was it. That was beautiful. He ain't worried about that. He's on to the next thing. He got the idea out. It served his purpose. He was creative. It was there. Now on to the next thing. We're introduced to having the opportunity to believe that as we get older, there is a limitation to creativity. We will be blocked. We will have blockages. We will have all these different things come up. And then they do show up, right? But as I look at Zion, and this boy is ridiculously intelligent as well. His freedom of just being, his freedom of just creating, just creation, I'll touch on that right now. That's beautiful. And then he also shows me myself. He shows me myself, because there'll be certain areas of life where I'm asking him, okay, let's stay focused. Let's stay focused. Let's stay focused. Okay. Hey, wait, don't do that. This is not the time to do that. We're going to stay focused. And I'm focused on keeping him focused, right? And then when I'm off doing my own work, keep that same energy. You remember how you was trying to keep him focused? Yeah, look at you getting distracted. Look at you getting distracted. Look at you over here. Keep that same energy. Focus. See, me, I have ADHD. And it's hard with a lot of the works that I have to do. A lot of stuff is online. As you know, people's timeline, everything is coming at us a mile a minute, things like that. Keep that same energy. Keep that same energy and give yourself some grace on the distractions. Give yourself some grace on the distractions and empower him in areas where you may not have been empowered when you were a kid. When I was a kid, people couldn't understand why I wasn't focused. I was real focused on things that I absolutely loved, but like in school and stuff like that, I was like, I'm talkative. I'm talking to people. I'm talking to friends. It's like they were like, he's easily distractible. He's easily this, that, and third. Like, okay, you recognize you had passions, you had a certain way that you learned. School didn't necessarily empower you in the way that you learned. You went to a public school. People didn't understand how you learned. They didn't understand why you couldn't stay focused. They didn't understand certain things. Now you being in your place of life, recognizing, okay, I wasn't able to focus because of this. I was this because of that. All the things that you learned about your life, take that and use it as awareness for how you are parenting Zion, how you're parenting him. Give yourself the grace and extend that grace, because you can't extend something that you don't even give to yourself. So give yourself the self-compassion when you find yourself trailing off, like, okay, you know what? Bring it back. When you find yourself feeling like you don't want to, step away and then come back. What I started doing with him, I'll take him sometimes. We'll go to the park and do homework. And then We'll go play a little bit, do a little homework. Then you finish your homework, make sure that you stay focused, and then we're getting ready to go out there. We're going to go play. That's the next thing. So, okay, stay focused so that we can go do this. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, man, it's just, I've learned to extend the grace that I learned to give to myself, because I forget to give myself grace at times.
You ain't the only one.
Bro.
And that, wow, yeah, I ain't even gonna go there because that could open up a whole other thing right there.
Huge.
That's a big thing. How do you incorporate culture into your parenting? Like, how important is that, to teach your child about culture? And
elaborate about that. Yeah, elaborate on that question.
Like, how important is it for you to teach them, especially about their own culture? One thing for me, I like to really teach my kids on past, like a lot of times they learn culture from school. And right now they're in the public school system. The public school system teaches them just this, I always call it watered down, like a watered down culture, especially when it comes to Black history and Black culture. How important is it for you to teach your child their history, and also show that to them, show them the differences between what they learn in school and the true history of our people? Like, how important is that in your parenting?
So he hasn't gone, first off, I love this question. He hasn't gone into depth in school, being in kindergarten at this moment.
Yeah, I forgot he is.
About like the history situation, but my career has empowered me to be able to go and search out my ancestry. I've gone over to Nigeria, got an opportunity to connect with people, like connect with the motherland. Got an opportunity to talk to people just about the culture, talk about West African culture, but African culture, African American. That's been an ongoing conversation as well. And so I play music. I play music from Black people. I play music from African people. I play music from the diaspora. I expose him to photography. I expose him to different books that we get, just to empower little Black children. And that's the thing. It's about, he's in a place where, now me, I was raised in a predominantly white city, like vastly predominantly white. And so I didn't have as much, I wasn't exposed as much to my culture, like the cultural history. So I'm just doing as best as I can to get him to know that Black is enough. Black is beautiful. He is just, his brown skin is exactly as it should be. Like that's the thing. He's sometimes when I was growing up, I felt like I needed to be somebody else. I felt like my Black skin made me not enough at times, and that's just my own journey. In growing up, also, I grew up playing hockey. So I was always around white people. I was always around different people. And there were different things to where, like even if you're dating in a predominantly white space, then there's majority, either if you're dating somebody Black, it's either you don't, because that's either your cousin or something like that. Or if you're going up and approaching these white girls, then their parents are like, oh, I don't want my kid around this Black boy. It's like, wow. I had a very unique way of being, environment of being raised in, right? These kids being raised in Los Angeles, this is a melting pot. It's a melting pot. And he has some beautiful, a beautiful melting pot around him as well. You know what I mean? So that's the thing. He's being exposed to what is Black. He's being exposed to brown is beautiful. He's being exposed to love yourself through all things, because you are exactly who you need to be, and you are exactly who the world needs you to be. And your skin doesn't make you any less than anybody. And your skin is the boy is vastly intelligent though. So that's the thing, is like the sky, to say the sky's the limit would be a limitation for him. So
I love that, bro. That's some good stuff. That's good.
I'm long-winded, so I pray that I'm hitting all the points.
You're doing exactly what I love for people to do. Some people come on the podcast, honestly, and they don't give it. I'd be like, I need a little more, but yeah, you perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. I got a couple more questions for you, man. What has been your greatest triumph as a parent?
My greatest triumph as a parent.
Like, what's been that one thing as a parent that you're so proud of yourself for overcoming?
Without going in, matter of fact, let me sit with this for a quick second. Because that's the thing, like, through the course of time, focusing on Z. People break up for reasons, right? They got their reasons, their incompatibilities, or whatever things show up, right? But you got to show up for the kid, and to the best of your ability. And with the moves that I've been making, the things that I've been doing, though my moves may not be understood by all, I stay focused in it, and I celebrate myself for staying committed to working out the co-parenting thing and making sure that my game plan is set up to make sure that my son is good. So I celebrate myself for that. And I do that. I say that, and that's a point of pride for me as well, because it was really hard. It was really hard healing. And there's areas I'm still healing from. In not being in the same house as my child, not being able to, quote unquote, not being able to give him that 2-parent household that I had growing up. So sometimes the co-parenting is off, sometimes it be on. But the one thing I can say is it's been, let's go, consistent. Just consistency looks different in certain areas. It's like, okay, boom. Z.
It's real. That's real. And it's a great answer, man. And that's something right there that, I always commend guys for, because I always look at my situation. I look at my situation like my parenting situation. I'm with my wife, and I didn't have kids until I was married and all this stuff. So for me, I always think, I got it, quote unquote, easy, in like the perfect situation in a lot of other people's eyes. Because when I talk to so many other guys and they have situations that I've never experienced, and that's one thing that keeps me humble, because I'm like, this guy has so many other things on his plate that I couldn't even imagine having on my plate. and being in a position like that. And that's something that I especially want to give my kids, what I didn't have growing up. I didn't grow up with that parent household, and that was something that I was big on, man, still to this day. And you know, and marriage has been difficult. I just we just made our 11-year anniversary like 2 weeks ago.
Okay, congratulations.
Oh yeah, appreciate it, man. And it's been difficult over the years. And one thing I always say, people always say, well, don't stay for the kids. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to stay for my kids, but I don't think that's a bad thing. I've talked with certain guys who would say stuff like that. And I'm like, I mean, my kids are worth all that. When I look at my babies and when I talk to them and I look them in their face and I'm like, bro, they're worth everything. These kids of mine are like, they're everything. Like, and the way that you talk about how you say, it's about him. Like literally, like if I'll do it for anything else, I do it for them. If for no one else, for my babies to make things work and to make things worth their while, for them. And if, God forbid anything was to ever happen, I will always have that relationship with my wife to the point to where we're going to work together for these kids. We're going to do that. If we don't do anything else, we don't agree on anything else, we're going to make sure these kids are straight.
You speaking transparency of how hard it is to be married, to how hard it is to have a relationship. I really appreciate your transparency, bro. And I really appreciate this platform that you have, that you're giving for fatherhood, for husbands. It's like that as well, too. Because like you're speaking on this family dynamic. I really appreciate that, because that's the thing, man. Like relationships really take work, bro. They really take work. Because that's the thing. I heard that. What I heard is, this is a science thing, right? They say that past the infatuation and honeymoon stage, 13 months is all you got. Until you start looking at your significant other like, all right, 13 months. And they say that happens long enough for you to be in bliss enough to get together and have a baby, like to get together and make a child. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is the commitment, because love is a commitment and an action, bro. That continuous showing up, and then showing up through the seasons too. Like you got you are on a whole entirely different level of understanding, sacrifice, love. Yeah, man, you creating, brother. You creating.
Serious stuff, bro. And that's something that, like I don't take it for granted. I try not to take it for granted. At times I do. And I have to bring myself back and, just really think about, I've talked, what is this, episode 112?
Yeah.
Man, I've talked to over 100 guys, and everyone's situation has been totally different. Everyone. And I've heard so many different stories of guys that are like, some guys, they're like, man, the stories I've heard, I'm like, God, dog, man, that like this dude is really going through some stuff. And then I think about what I'm going through in my marriage, and I'm like, yeah, so it's tough, but man, this ain't what he got going on, and it makes me really sit back and take a look at myself. And every time, honestly, when it comes to marriage, I'll say this: marriage, every time my wife and we've gotten into it about anything, I always have to take a look back at myself. And most of the time, if I really look at myself, I can find the problem in me. And I can literally fix it right just with this person that I look at in the mirror and say, you know what? I could do X, Y, and Z better. If I was to do X, Y, and Z better, man, that'll like take so much pressure, that'll help everything else. Just fixing the things within myself. And I believe, you know, and I tell my wife the same thing, look at yourself, you know, and if we just fix the person in the mirror, a lot of times that fixes everything else. You know, we've been together all together for 14 years, man, since 2009. She was 18 years old. I was 20. You know, I'm 34 years old now, man. And, you know, what I'm finding, what both of us are finding out, you know, now that we're in our 30s now, and we got married so young, really, we've been together since we were so young, really her whole entire adult life. Man, it could be so rough, bro, when you didn't really take the time to understand yourself before you got into a relationship. Woo! Man, and that's where we've both hit that wall once, you know, like maybe 2 years ago, I would say 2.5 years ago, we really hit that wall where we started to realize, like, man, when we got married, I'm not the same person I was at 20. She's not the same person at 18. And you know, just really learning ourselves. And I'm like having to really learn who I am at this point in my life and love my wife according to who she is right now, instead of who she was back then. And bro, that junk is hard, bro.
Bro, you're speaking like this is the thing. Like there is something about that check-in that I gotta learn myself. I gotta remember, okay, I gotta know who I am and keep on checking in with myself. And then I gotta check in with my spouse to find out, okay, who are you now? I gotta, like, who have you transitioned to? What's important to you in your life these days? What's changed? Like, we're not the same
at all, bro.
And now we got these kids, man, and they're involved. So I got to check in with them too. Like, hold up, you ain't who you were when you were 3. Okay, you 6 now. You like, what you think you got? Okay, all right, well, all right, man. Communication, man, bro. I'm not gonna lie, I've been failing in communication a lot. I think it's because I'm leveling up in an area. Like, certain things are like really like, because when you're getting ready to level up, God's gonna ask more of you. It's just a fact. You can't get to where that is if you don't get this taken care of. So I'm gonna put this heat on you. And should you handle that correctly, then you're gonna get to this place. And don't get comfortable. Don't get comfortable. But man, like, that's the thing. It's wild, bro. It's wild. Seasons happen.
Seriously, bro. And those seasons, man, they come at times. One of my friends told me, he said, we always say when we're going through it, it's like it just happened out of nowhere. He's like, bro, nothing happens out of nowhere. He was like, bro, seasons change and you know when it's changing. He was like, we don't just get from winter to the spring. He was like, bro, you start to see all the signs. You see the signs everywhere. It was like, at times we just don't pay attention.
Facts. That
it's not that it just happens. Like, no, it never just in a day. No, it transitions. And I'm like, man, that's the thing when it comes to relationships and stuff. And even when it comes to our children, I remember one of my oldest said at one point, she said something like, what did she say to me one day? She was like, it's like you don't treat me like like at times you don't, like, I don't treat her like, you know, she just turned 10 and she's like, almost like I still treat her like she's 4. And when she said it that day, you know, it kind of made me think, like, I do sometimes.
Yep. I get it. I get it. As soon as you said it, I felt like, yeah, you probably do. Probably do. Because I get it. I check myself. Because my little man is 6. He has a lot. He knows a lot. And within this amount of time, within that amount of time, when he gets 10, we forget, bro, they're growing for real. Like from yesterday to today, it's different. That's how quick they learn. That's how quick they evolve too. It's another level. Like, I think, because is that the one that just went to her first dance?
Yep. That's her.
Bruh.
Crazy.
That's wild.
Crazy, man. Crazy, bro. Like, I can remember when she was like in my arms, bro. And now she's like really, you know, like my baby is growing up, bro. And I'm just like, oh God, bro. Like, how, like this is, man, it's so much pressure, bro. It's ridiculous, man. It's pressure.
Pressure. And I'm not even going to ask you to feel the pressures that you feel as a girl dad.
Bro.
You know, like,
yeah,
that too, man.
It's real.
You know, but you know, like in my thing is, man, like the thing that I think about is, yo, I'm a boy dad, bro. Like my little man needs his dad in his life. Like, you know, and as I'm figuring out my life, as I'm figuring things out, right, and doing my best, I'm also putting the heat on myself, like, bro, do better, do better, do better. Like, figure this out so that you can be around more. Figure this out so that you can be around more, or figure this out so that you can get him around more. You know what I mean? It's wild, man. Like in my journey, man, like my kid, whether he knows it or not, he's experienced his dad being not having a place to live. Like there'd be times where I was going over his mom's house, picking him up in a stroller, and we literally just walk. I'd go take him to a place where we had some air conditioning, and we just go. It's just like, I'm spending time with my kid. At the time, I didn't have a car. There was so many things I was going through, man, and just trying to figure out. And it's like, man, kid, you deserve more. You really deserve more. And part of what me looking to give him more was like, okay, cool. I got an opportunity to move down, go take care of my career, make it, you know, big it up, you know, and just get some things going and make things happen for my little man. It's like, bruh, I'm just figuring it out. I'm figuring it out. You know, there's times where I get the pressure of like, yo, how come you ain't been around? It's like, I'm trying to get this shit together. It's like, can I say shit? All right, my bad. It was an accident.
Do that.
I was like, but man, like, that's the thing, bro. Like, that's the thing. I hold myself to a high standard of fatherhood because of what I came up under, the men that I came up under.
Yes, sir.
And there's areas where I'm like, bro, pull it together, because there's things that I get down on myself for. But I'm like, look, you gotta just rise up. Like, that's the thing. Resilience. It's about your consistency within this month might not have looked right, but make sure that your year is looking right. You know what I'm saying? Like, make sure that this 5 years is looking right. Make sure whatever your situation is, bro, get back on that horse. Get back on that horse. That's it. And so that's why when I say, like, some people might not understand, because people, I've learned in fatherhood, there's a lot of people who have been judged by their fatherhood and people haven't known what's really going on. And I'm not here to make excuses for people. Some people really be deadbeaten. Some people that's like, whatever situation, they don't want the responsibility. I want the smoke, bro. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, like, when I look at it, it's like, there are certain blockages that I have. And sometimes it be blockages where, shoot, me and co-parenting ain't getting along situation. You know, it's like, but okay, you gotta get over it. You gotta get over it because he needs this. You know, it's like men, we experience a lot. We experience a lot in being fathers. And it's not easy. A lot of times we go into it. A lot of times the woman don't expect you to be shit anyway.
Mm.
She coming in from something. A lot of times women coming in from something. My dad wasn't this, that, this, that, and the third. I was like, it's like this dynamic is tough, bro. It's tough. And communication is tough. Relationship communication is tough. So therefore, when relationship communication is tough, then that impacts conversations that are supposed to be had about kids and different things like that, bro. It's like, it gets to be a thing, man. And then add in finances, add in just anything, and just life happening, just life throwing itself at you, you know? It's something, man. And then thinking about, and I'll make this brief, then thinking about, you want your kids to go to the best schools. Shoot, out here in Los Angeles, you want to get to the best schools. A lot of times that's going to cost $40,000 a year.
Yeah.
Quote unquote best schools, best education situation, right? It's just a lot, man, to think about. So yeah, it's wild, bro. We figuring it out.
Listen, this fatherhood thing is a daily journey, bro. Daily journey. Man, I got one more for you, man. You know,
Yes, God. Yes, God.
Good. Man, I hope for the everybody who might listen to this, boy, it's a lot of little gems in here. I hope y'all catch them. But I got this last one for you, man. If you could sit down with the 18-year-old version of yourself, knowing everything you know right now, what would you say to him? If you could give him one piece of advice going forward, that your 18-year-old self sitting down like me and you were doing, what would you say to him?
Are we talking about in regards to fatherhood?
Anything, just life.
Anything? Gotcha. Give me one moment. You got a lot of people who are going to come in and out of your life because life is temporary. Everything's temporary. The only thing that we don't know about is on the other side of death. But let's look at everything in this world, in this realm, is temporary. People have experienced different lifestyles, different upbringings, have been taught different things, have experienced different traumas. Now, as you interact with these people and you come in and out of their life, y'all are going to exchange energy. Your shit is going to rub off on them. Their shit's going to rub off on you. Choose wisely. Now, with that being said, knowing that everything is temporary, from relationships to all types of, just from the breath in your lungs, love yourself. Love yourself to the capacity that nobody else could love. And don't depend on anybody else to love you like you love yourself. And with that love, because you can't give that love truly unless you're really receiving it from yourself. Anything else is coming from a place of lack, or it's coming from a place that could be feeling like, okay, well, I should show up this way. But it's not coming from a place of sustenance. Because if you're not giving yourself that grace, if you're not setting the boundaries that are necessary for yourself in order to be your best self, then you'll end up losing out and losing. So with all of the temporary of this life, let the one thing that is sustained, let the one thing that is forever is your love for yourself. Because life is going to throw you some things and some opportunities for you to possibly not even like yourself. It's going to throw you some people who have some opinions of you and who you are that may misunderstand you. You might not like yourself on the other side of if you look through their eyes. If you look at yourself through the eyes of somebody who despises you, then you might not like yourself. And they might have caught you in a moment and have you living life through the scope of a lens of one moment. Love yourself. And within that love, extend forgiveness and grace. And I've been learning forgiveness, bro. I've been learning forgiveness. Keep forgiveness in your front pocket, not in your back. Matter of fact, keep it in your hand. Keep it in your hand and learn it. Learn it, study it, be it. And you're going to need to know it because you're going to need to know it on another level later on in life.
Sheesh. Man, this man just preached. You hear me? Wow. Yeah, that's some advice that all of us can take. Because Lord knows, man, that forgiveness thing, yeah, bro. I'm still trying to get there, you know.
But that's the thing, we're imperfect. We are imperfect, bro.
Yeah.
We are imperfect. And I want you to understand something. If we take the word imperfect and add an apostrophe after that I, what do we get? I'm perfect. I was never meant to be. I was always meant to be flawed, right? So we get the chance to extend ourselves grace within our version of perfection, which is imperfection.
That's real. Oh.
And that's other people too. That's other people. So as much as I want to get mad and hold on to stuff, which I do sometimes.
Yes, sir.
I got to chalk it up to we human, man. We human. Let's do the best that we can. And if I don't have to deal with somebody, I won't. But if I got to deal with somebody and we got to deal with each other, because I know I'm imperfect too. I know I show up certain types of ways that rub people the wrong way. Realize that you have blind spots. Realize you got blind spots. And also to the 18-year-old me, that confidence that you got, it hasn't been tested yet. It hasn't been tested fully yet. So know that your confidence, it's on one side of an ultimate test that you may come across. So remember what confidence feels like and practice confidence, because you might have to, where it's coming naturally in this moment in time, you may have to relearn it another time.
Preach it, my boy. Dang.
Pieces, bro.
Yes. Oh man, listen, this shit was good, bro. I needed this. I always said, I know people probably, he always said the same thing, but I'm so serious. When I say I need these podcasts, for me, I put it out for everybody else, the world to hear it. But for me, this stuff is for me, man. I need this. I genuinely need stuff like this, you know. It always refocuses me, gets me back in the right mind frame, get me back in that place, you know, get me back in my mode. And, you know, and after I get done with these podcasts, I'm ready to go be a dad, you know, ready to go be a husband, you know, try to be the best version of myself. So I love having a time to be able to reflect like this. And man, you gave me a lot of gems that I'm gonna hold close to my chest, man, and try to put those things into effect. You said some stuff today, bro.
Can I offer, first off, thank you for having this platform once again. Thank you for making and committing yourself to your family, committing yourself to other brothers, committing yourself to your kids. Thank you for everything that you laid out here. And I want to also just put something out on the table. A lot of times as men, we are presented with what does it mean to have balance in life. A lot of times from the woman in our life, they're like, well, okay, I guess I'll just speak to myself and speak about myself and speak for like a lot of the conversations I have with men. It's like, you're always working and you're not around, and you're not this, what's this situation? You know, it's like men, we recognize that we have been given a script of what providing looks like. And we get an opportunity to assess that script and find out what our natural aptitudes are and what our ways of being and what our family and what our dynamic needs from us in order to show up. is tough. Right now, I've recognized that I have been so work heavy, and I'm not gonna lie, I miss my family, bro. I miss my family. It's like I'm all over the place. Literally, my name is everywhere. I'm everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And I'm blessed. Yeah. I'm blessed, and I'm working out some things so that I can reposition what my life looks like, because there's purpose in my artistry. There's purpose in my parenting. That's where purpose is. And with all of these aspects of where I'm giving and how I'm making my money and how I'm giving my love, where I'm giving my love, where I'm putting my energy, there's this book of The Alchemist. You familiar with The Alchemist?
Heard of it, yeah.
In The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, there's the main character, he's on this quest to go he had this dream, and he's going on this quest to live out that dream, right? And so he finds himself in a palace where he's getting ready to ask this ruler this question. He has to ask this question, but he goes in and he says, hey, I want to ask you this question. But the ruler says, hey, check it out. I don't have time at this moment in time. Take this spoon. I'm going to put these 2 drops of oil on the spoon. Do not drop any of the oil off of the spoon. I want you to walk around the palace. Come back in an hour. We'll have a conversation. He comes back 1 hour later. So I see you still have the oil on the spoon. Did you get a chance to see the tapestries hanging from the... No, I didn't see that. Well, did you see the garden that's up? No, I didn't see that. I'm saying, you mean to tell me that you walked around this entire extraordinary, gorgeous palace and you didn't see any of it? We'll go walk around the palace. Go see the palace. So, walk around the palace. Yo, this is beautiful. Wow. Come back. You didn't see the palace. Where's the oil on the spoon? I must have forgot. The balance in life is to make sure that you see everything around that palace, experience the whole palace, but don't you dare lose those 2 drops of oil in the spoon. Be mindful. And sometimes I speak from a space of a place where I'm learning. You know what I'm saying? I'm not speaking from a place of mastery. I'm speaking from a place of I'm on the journey of mastering, you know? But man, whatever. If somebody gets on this show, or if somebody's listening to this show, being a father is important to them. So do your best. Give yourself some grace. Recognize that you're human. Show up. 18-year-old you, 18-year-old me, when you get to be a dad, there's going to be some things there are guaranteed going to be some things that you didn't predict. You couldn't predict. Because when you become a dad, that's going to be the first time you're watching a little human come in to life and watching them grow up. This is going to be your first time in life watching a human do that. There's a lot that you ain't going to know. It's a lot. Give yourself grace and figure it out.
Yes, love that, man. Woo!
2 drops of oil on the spoon and look at the palace. Keep that balance.
Oh, that man just gave us something to hold on to, man. If y'all listening, I'm telling y'all, man, the man giving, he handing out the free game. I can't make you pick it up. He put it out there. All you got to pick it up. You got to make that choice. But I'm choosing to pick up the game.
Yo, I'm picking it up too, bro. I'm picking it. That's the thing, bro. We put out these different things. Sometimes we're just a vessel to be able to put it out so that we can we can feast off of what was cooked. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, you know what? I need to eat that. That wasn't just that was for me too. I needed that.
Dang, yeah, man, that's some real stuff there, bro. Man, well, I think we've man, I could easily go another 30, 45 minutes easily. It was a lot of questions. You know, and listen, it was a great conversation, man. I can't say it enough. I needed this. Man, I appreciate you, bro, for setting aside some time for me on this great day, man, and just coming on and blessing the podcast, man. I'm so appreciative. Shout out to Jackie O for hooking this up, man. You know, she definitely came through with this one, man. Gotta shout her out. And you know, like I say, man, I can't give you enough thanks, appreciation for coming on and spending some time with me today, bro.
Man, and you know what? I want to return that again, because you showing up, you being in your consistency over 112 conversations, because you didn't start having these conversations when you started the podcast. So you got way beyond 100. You know what I mean? It's just like you just captured the ones that are on the podcast, right? And the thing that you're continuously blessed by it, and you're continuously getting these gems because you're showing up in your purpose. Bro, like you're getting fed right now. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the thing. It's like you're the common denominator between all of this. So whenever if you don't want to show up to one, just recognize and remember, you know what? If I don't want to show up to this, bro, like this is how I've been getting blessed. And this is how I've been blessing other people. This is me living in my blessing.
Straight up.
Man, and when you leave that room and then you go outside, because also not everybody has the situation. It is our choices that creates what our life is, right? And so many of us never thought that we wouldn't be in the same house as our kid. And to wherever we owe that, whether it's our fault, it's always a mixture of people's faults, right? And incompatibilities and whatever comes up, people learning and growing, or whatever the situation is. You know, sometimes people just, we can go. Long story short, you walk out of that room and you look in that bedroom that's over there and you see, oh yeah, you know, it's like that. Baby girl sleeps right there. It's like, oh, little man sleeps right there. Baby girl sleeps right there. They good. I got this roof over my head. I got my family. I'm good. You know? And those shit is hard. I'm holding it down one day at a time. And so everybody got, some people, they don't have access to see their kid.
Real.
You know? Like, bro, the many stories of when I've talked to somebody on the other side of, you know, just needing to be, you know, going to my co-parenting journey, and somebody was like, and I was having a hard time, and they was like, look, man, I understand you, and I need you to understand that I also did not see my child until they hit their 18th birthday.
Ooh.
You know, and so I'm sitting here in empathy with you, and just know that it can always be worse.
Believe that.
You know what I mean? So recognize, do what you can. You know what I mean? We just doing what we can, bro. And we doing our best. And thank you for creating this platform for whoever wants to tap in to be able to be fed straight from the oven. This ain't no microwave. It's straight from the oven, because we're living life right now as it is. And you're creating a safe space to be able to explore topics, to be able to explore fatherhood on a level to where, look, we always like, oh, and then I lift him up. Oh, you're so adorable. Like, yeah, you know, like we could talk about the honest stuff, man.
It's real.
Because it is that. It's, you know, like, oh yeah, look, oh, you're changing the first diaper and stuff like that. And then it's the getting pushed to my limit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm getting pushed to, is this how I need to parent? Is this how I want to parent? okay, wait 1 second. How am I showing up as a parent right now? Like, what is it? It's different, man. It's different. It's different. So I just want to say thank you. And like I said, I get long with it because fatherhood and connection and family it's huge for me, man, you know? And so I really appreciate you doing it, man. And I'm really grateful that Jackie connected us because you're a solid dude. And I'm just really grateful to just see what you're doing for Black men, for the Black community, for Black children, for honestly, for everybody, because if Black is winning, everybody. That's what people don't understand. If you have a group of people who are not winning, how could you ever win? How could you ever win off of somebody's losing? You're not really winning. You think you are by bringing somebody else down. It's not working. Really, what you're doing is you're just creating more and more problems for your future. Because if the Black household, if minority households are winning, then that means there's a lot more healing happening. That means there's a lot more love happening. And I mean, I guess there are powers to be that don't want love because there's power in love that some people just don't want to see.
We ain't gonna go on that. You know,
we ain't gonna go on that, man. It's like, but long story short, we're on the same page. And anybody that's listening to this, Dad, can we talk? Yeah, we can talk. Sure. And that's another thing. Leaving space. Oh, I'm lush. It's all for the cause, though. Leaving space open. And Michael, hold yourself accountable. Everywhere, Michael, hold yourself accountable. Is leaving space for if we've shown up in our child's life in a manner that was not conducive to empowering them to be their best self, owning responsibility for that and doing the best that we can to apologize and change the actions. That. And then also recognizing as fathers, we are not always going to be understood. We may have a vision of something that can't be understood by anybody outside. Learn how to communicate it, learning how to be it, learning how to be it in the face of people not necessarily seeing or believing. It's different, bro. We come up against different things and it can't be explained. But prayer, but God, but alignment, but praying over discernment. And I'm going to want us to close in prayer like we opened in prayer. They didn't catch the opening in prayer. We did that before we went live. But I want us to be able to close in prayer too, man. But like, that's the thing. I pray over our families, bro. I pray over our dynamics. I pray over your marriage. I pray over your fatherhood. I pray over my co-parenting situation. I pray over my fatherhood. I pray over our families, the health, the wealth that extends not only just in the financial, but in our health and in our just our abundance of our mindset, the limitlessness of our mindset, you know, in the healing. You know, it's a lot, man. It's a lot. Life throws us a lot.
Yes, man. Let's do that. Before we pray, man. Tell the people where they can find you on social media.
Oh man, you know what? I'm mostly on Instagram. You can find me. My name is evrYwhr, evrYwhr. That's one more time. It is evrYwhr. Because I know what happened is you heard my name is everywhere. And you're gonna type it in, you say EVER. No, no. How did he say it? evrYwhr. The only E is the first E. That part. And you're gonna find me as everywhere. So that's anywhere you want to find me. Go to Google, you can go to Instagram, you can go on TikTok, you can go on all these different things everywhere. But if you really want to touch base with me, I'm mostly on Instagram.
That's real. That's real. So y'all going to get my man followers up, man. If you hear this, man, y'all go follow my man. Stay in tune with him, and you know, if you feel the urge, man, send my man a message and give him a little inspiration. You know, it's always needed. Always needed, man. So
always welcome.
Let's go ahead and I'm gonna have you go ahead and pray, man, and we'll end it like that, bro.
Man, God, thank you so much for this day. Thank you so much for our persistence, our resilience, for the breath in our lungs. Thank you so much for this day that we get a chance to smile, that we get a chance to frown, that we get a chance to just experience, that we get a chance to have real conversation. God bless Dad, Can We Talk? Bless Andy. Bless our families. Bless this process. Bless the temporary that is our life, that we're able to walk in alignment of the purpose that's meant for us. Bless my artistry. Bless my parenting. Bless everybody that comes onto this show. Bless Jackie for connecting this. God, thank you so much for all of the things that we could never even remember to thank you for. We're grateful. Thank you for our children. Thank you for our children. And open up pathways for us to be enough, better for, and whatever's necessary for them. For them. I'm so grateful. And I still want to leave this space open. Brother, if you want to add to this prayer.
Father, we thank you for this platform, for giving us wisdom, giving us knowledge, and allowing us to share, be open, and be honest. And y'all, we just thank you that, you've allowed us to have this time together today. I pray for every ear, for every man, for every woman that will hear this. And I pray that, even for both of us, that we will continue to be better, to be better in everything that we do. Let us be more mindful in our parenting, in the way that we raise our children, and just give us wisdom and allow us to be impactful in everything that we say to our kids, to everything that come out of our mouths. Let it be something that will be uplifting and out of love, and just allow us to create even with the words that we say. So we just thank you, and we honor you. We thank you for this day, and we bless you in the name of your son, Yeshua. Thank you.
Amen.
Yes, sir. Man. Listen, that was good, bro. Like I said, bro, I appreciate you so much, man. This here was just, it was a much needed thing, bro. I needed this for real.
God don't miss.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So
Yes,
we're gonna end it. We're gonna end episode 112 like that. For all my listeners, followers out there, man, like I always tell y'all know where to find us. IG, Facebook, Twitter, Dad Can We Talk, YouTube, Dad Can We Talk. You can go on Google and type in Dad Can We Talk. You'll find us like that. Wherever you see that logo at, that's me. And you can also find us on the website at dadcanwetalk.com. So y'all continue to stay tuned, go and smash that, follow that subscribe button on YouTube, and y'all continue to keep it pushing, man. I got more episodes coming within the next few weeks, and like I always say, I got plenty of dads out there. We ain't gonna stop no time soon. So if that's what you hoping for, you're wrong, and you're gonna continue to be wrong, but we're gonna continue to push, man. So evrYwhr, man, appreciate you, big dog.
Bless you, bro. Bless you.
We out of here. Dad, can we talk?